Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address. Oh, bear with me here, put my notes away. 22305 Southwest Taylor's Drive here in Tualatin. We're located at the front of the house, just to the left of the front door. I describe everything as if you're standing out in the street, based in the front of the house. So the cleanout sits out in front of the kind of the bay window here. It is a hidden, buried cleanout. So you've got your central foundation vent here on this front-facing part of the bay window. About a foot to the left of it and about a foot out from the house is where your cleanout's at. 3-inch ABS. It's a pretty open crawl space too. It's fairly easy to see where the line exits out on this one. Anyhow, you've got some root penetration here at the where the cleanout flange is at. You know, from a technical standpoint, yes, there's a root intrusion. Is it meaningful in any way? Not really. After I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career, I've seen a lot of these. Very, very, very rarely will you ever see one capable of actually growing all the way down the cleanout into the actual sewer line. Every now and then it happens, but you know, it's something I'll recommend to fix on. Just understand that is not a functional part of the sewer line. That's merely the access to it. And those roots, as long as they have been here, have only they've got to grow quite a ways to even get down into where they can touch the sewer line, let alone have any effect on it. So, and in fact, I just reached in there and ripped everyone out, and those have probably been there for a couple decades, would be my guess at this point. So that's as simple as just removing those little couplers and slapping some glue in there, and that's it. And all you'd have to do is dig down about 6 to 8 inches here, chop the top of that thing off, and just glue a new cleanout on. It's very simple stuff. Transitioning here over to 4-inch PVC pipe, and then immediately after that into 3034 PVC. And this is a superbly clean sewer line. Whoever's been living here has done a fantastic job of not putting cooking oil and grease down the line. This is precisely how you want your sewer line to look right here. And that cooking oil, grease, fats in general habit is the number one thing to keeping a line clean. Obviously, improper items like paper towels, wipes, tampons, things like that should stay out of the sewer line. But grease is the big one, and it has a huge effect on, especially when the line gets abused, or if you have kids balling up toilet paper and flushing 14 of them down the sewer line. That grease buildup is a huge contributing factor to a lot of blockages, and often a lot of things that otherwise would break loose on their own naturally. Turns your line into a sticky mess and causes debris to get hung up in the line that would otherwise clear the line. It's just a good maintenance habit. It's about the only thing you can do to your sewer line to maintain things. You're at the will of nature otherwise. Anyway, we've hit the main here at 53 feet. Looks like we tie right into the manhole out in the road. We're gonna go locate that really quick here while the pipe drains off, and then have a second look at everything. But beyond that little clean out thing at the start, everything else here looks great so far. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southwest Taylor's Drive. So there's a manhole it's not perfectly straight in line with the clean out. The line orients to the left side property line. So if you were to kind of go look and imagine where the left side property line is, just visually looking at the houses here, the manhole lines up almost perfectly with where you would imagine that imaginary line is. So the line kind of jaunts towards that left side property line, straightens out, and shoots out to the street. Ties right into the manhole out in the road there. Most homes don't do that, but every 3 to 5 houses on a road will connect into the manhole. The rest of them just tee onto the main. And usually I give you a little bit bigger spiel on that. When you're on a cul-de-sac, where you get about 3, 4, 5 houses all converging into one manhole, you can have some really fun dynamics with that if you have a neighbor that has a bad habit of putting paper towels down the line. Manholes are kind of designed to naturally gather debris. It's an easy spot for people to get in there and remove it. You get a neighbor who's got a bad habit of putting paper towels down there. I've seen 4-foot tall mountains of paper products in manholes before. They block up and then back up the entire cul-de-sac. Luckily in this scenario you don't have that same dynamic going on. The plus side, when you connect to a manhole, it's mostly related to if you ever had to do a repair on your sewer line. It gives you more options in the trenchless realm. It's a very ideal scenario for doing trenchless like epoxy liners and things like that. Should it ever be necessary. Like if you got a root intrusion or something like that and the line was deep, it's a really nice setup for doing stuff of that nature. So everything from the clean out access to the main lateral connection here is in fantastic shape. Superbly clean sewer line. Kudos to whoever's been living here. They've kept this thing amazingly clean. And right now we're going backwards. And this right here, we're going to go up a vertical. This is the line. This is where the line dives down to exit out of the foundation. And at this point here, we are well within the crawl space. It's amazingly clean. Anyway, if you want to keep it this clean, just keep the cooking oil and baking grease out of the line, and the line will keep looking just like that. That right there is about as good as a sewer scope goes. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time, and a very good example of how a line should look. Anyway, so here's your clean out. Line actually comes out at about a 45-degree angle, shoots over to the left side property line, turns, and off to the road it goes.